Bill Belichick was on Pat McAfee yesterday, and we're going to get to that audio, but I'll summarize it in the meantime as we get our systems up and running. He indicated that Robin Glazier is one of the decision makers in Foxborough.
Well, I mean, he would know the most. I mean, he's been there for 24 years. He knows who it goes through. So, I mean, I'm not in the inner working walls of that place. Bill had final call on a lot of things, so I'm sure a lot of things had to be run through whoever he said makes these decisions. So, I mean, you got to trust Bill on this one. I mean, he's not going to lie to you, right?
No, I think he would.
Why?
I think he would lie. And I think what he did was mention her name as a way to irritate the team, as a way to make it sound as if she would be involved in the next head coaching hiring and throwing her name out there.
Interesting, because her name was not mentioned yesterday.
I'll tell you why. He knows. Bill's not stupid. Okay? Bill's a very smart guy.
We know that.
Bill knows how that name is received when it's mentioned. Hell, we bring it up for fun and for kicks all the time. He's doing it as a way to piss people off.
Yeah, because does anyone in the McAfee audience know who that is?
No. He is only doing that to get a reaction out of fans in New England and to irritate and get a reaction out of the people inside the four walls at Gillette Stadium.
You think he took a victory lap on this Mayo firing?
Absolutely.
That made him, you guys thought it was going to be so easy.
Absolutely. Jeff Howe had a tweet going back a couple of days, almost immediately after the firing, with someone in Belichick's camp saying that the year with Gerard Mayo went the way that they expected it to go. That's me paraphrasing what the quote was, the anonymous quote.
Yeah.
Yes. Who do you think it was? Who do you think
Michael
it was?
Lombardi. Easy. It's Michael Lombardi.
I was going to say. Okay, so you think it was Mike Lombardi
100%.
saying that?
100%.
You think Mike Lombardi has been reaching out unprompted to members of the media about this?
No, I think he's very accessible, though. I don't think he's reaching out.
Okay,
He's there for your call. If you need him, he is there.
All right. Well, his camp is kind of taking a victory lap on this, and I think that he did this as a way to irritate the team that is probably just about ready to wrap up paying him.
Yeah.
That's what's going on there. And so here it is. Here's what he said on Pat McAfee's show when he said he didn't have much to say about the New England Patriots situation, but managed to work Robin Glazier's name into his answer. Here it is.
Obviously, you had the greatest dynasty in the history of sports up there in New England. They have moved on from Coach Mayo after 1 year in a surprise announcement yesterday to, I think, a lot of football fans. How do you feel about only getting 1 year to build your culture, and how do you feel about that type of situation up there in New England, how it's unfolding right now? And you can obviously go to press conference, Bill, if you need to at this moment.
You know, the Patriots situation, I mean, honestly, I don't have too much of a comment on that. You know, Robert Kraft, Jonathan Kraft, Robin Glazier, you know, they're the decision makers there, who exactly does what and so forth. Mayo was handpicked by Robert, but in the end, the decision making is something that they'd have to comment on and identify. But, you know, they're the ones that are really, you know, making the calls there. And so it's you know, they're the ones that should comment on that. I really don't know from the outside looking in.
He is brutal. He really is. Petty Bill
with his son on that staff
was looking to poke the bear big time there to irritate them. He throws that name in there because the team, I believe, doesn't enjoy when she is mentioned as someone who is involved in football matters. They don't like that. They have pushed back against that. And he goes right ahead and says, no, well, she's one of the decision makers, and I got news for you. He's not wrong. You know why? Because she was in the room interviewing coaching candidates last year.
Okay.
And so that's why he can say that and be based on what happened last offseason, right on the money. What do you mean? She's in football. She was in there interviewing assistant coaches with Gerard Mayo. So how could you not consider her one of the football decision makers there? And that would be, I'd agree with him. How do you not count her as one of the football decision makers?
Well, that's how he knew it as when he left.
Coaches?
Right. When he departed, this is the structure of what I knew.
So to advance this, my question is, who's in the room this time around? We're a year later. Who's in the room? Who's interviewing Ben Johnson? Who's interviewing Mike Vrabel? Who's in that room? And I don't know that we got total clarity on that from Robert Kraft yesterday. And I think it's the question we should be asking. Like,
We kind of did a little bit, though. He said himself, Jonathan, Elliott.
and we'll have more on him today.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry. I'm curious. I'd love to know who's going to make the call on this. Who gets the final say? Is it Robert still? Is it Robert deferring to Jonathan? Is the Hammer going to be in there saying, I like this person, I like that person? Is the Hammer getting the boot? Is she not involved this time around? I have no idea.
I don't know.
Where's Bert on that? Does Bert have an answer for us on that?
He should.
Mike Reese is going to be with us, by the way, coming up at 11.
Maybe he's got a little inside stuff. He's there every day, cover the team. Mike talks to a lot of people.
But this team has not conducted a search in a quarter century now, a true search where they check all the boxes.
Yeah, they're kind of, I told you this on the elevator, they're kind of in no man's land here because some teams have done this like every 6 years where they're bringing in new people. They haven't done this in over 20 years, 25 years. It's crazy. And this is when Robert fell in love with Bill and then traded the picks to get him from the Jets. Like, here we are again. Like, this is our first real one where we're doing it. Well, they kind of did it last year.
How do you feel about their search when they hired Bill? And I think we've all made this mistake, by the way. I include myself. I keep saying, well, they haven't done a real search in 25 years. And then I think back and say, did they really do a search 25 years ago when they hired Bill? I mean, did they do a search where they went into it with a completely open mind and said, we're firing Pete Carroll. We need to find our next guy? Because maybe we're saying that and not really realizing that when they went into that search, they had Bill targeted as their guy.
Yeah.
Robert talked about the desire to hire Bill when he hired Pete Carroll and then saying,
Bill wasn't ready.
But I felt like, no, that wasn't it at all. He felt like he needed to have a break from the Parcells regime, that he needed a clean break from everything Parcells at the time. And so that's why he didn't go with Bill, because he needed a break from the Parcells thing.
And you are probably seriously worried about, okay, if we get rid of Parcells, we get Bill, is Parcells going to be somewhat tied to this? Like, that's the break. I get it.
So he went for Pete Carroll. When 3 years later he was back in the pool looking for his next candidate, was that a real search?
No.
So, I mean, you could make the case the last real search they did was when Parcells walked out the door.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
But is this a real search?
This is, yes.
I don't know. I mean, there's definitely reporting saying it absolutely is. I think the team has motivations to make it look like that. I think the team wants you to believe that it's a real search, that it's wide open and they're doing the work that they didn't do a year ago.
Yep. And
because everyone's pissed that they didn't do the work a year ago. So I think they have great motivation to tell you and get it out there that this is a real search. Are you going to believe them if they land on Mike Vrabel? Are you going to believe it was a real search? Even if he is a good candidate, which I believe he is.
I will, because of this. I talked to somebody that I trust 100%. That Ben Johnson is not going to take the token interview. Like, he's very busy right now. He's the most popular candidate out there, even going back to last year. That his time is up. Time is of the essence, though. You need to get these guys in and talk to them. But he's not going to waste his time preparing for playoffs, and he's going to be very selective to teams that he wants to go to.
Bears and Patriots, the only two.
Bears and Patriots, thank you. But I think you don't have to be a moron to look at it this way, to where everybody thinks it's going to be Vrabel. And I think, he needs to get the assertion that, hey, if I take this interview, this is going to be a real interview, right? We're going to go through the process, and I'm going to tell you the type of staff and what my needs and demands are, and I want you to be serious about me. And supposedly it was relayed to his camp that this is a real interview, that you have as much a chance as any other candidate we will interview. I do believe that. Because how could you not sit there and look at what the Lions have done through the 3 years? And if you're really comparing your own organization to what the goals and what it should be year to year to year, and their coaches, their GMs keeps getting brought up, keeping their coordinators. Aaron Glenn's going to be out there. There's going to be a demand for him. You have to take this serious. And why wouldn't you want to get in that guy's head to see if you're into analytics and if you're into offensive new schemes and the way the league is trending and it's an offensive league, how do you not reach out to him? There's a different type of love and intrigue about Vrabel. Ben Johnson would be the outlier to me in all this. It would, because it's new. But if he comes in and blows you away, and you got a shot at maybe the hottest offense coordinator in the National Football League in the last 3 years, then you go and do it. So I think he's going to get a fair shot at this thing. I do.
How are you going to tell me, Oh, for the last 30 days, it's gone bad. Wait, Schefter, like 4 days ago, you were saying all good. He's on solid ground. Schefter, Breer, Rap Sheet, Perry, Curran, Andrew Callahan. Sorry, guys. I mean, I get it. You got to report what your sources are telling you, but
Right.
why am I supposed to believe that all those sources, even at the highest levels of the organization, that means ownership, why are we still believing them? They were telling you guys 2 weeks ago that Mayo is on solid ground.
Yeah. I just think you're
just going to believe them? Just going to take their word for it that they're doing a real search?
No, I think you have to go with like the latest comment by like Schefter, and you date it, right? Because you can't really roll with what happened 5 weeks ago, and I do believe that too. That the way you look at it, they're really going to pop him. They're really going to, and I didn't believe that 100%. But as the year went on, and you got into those layers, I think maybe it is in play. But Adam just updates you on what the team's telling him. That's really it.
Thank you. He's a mouthpiece,
my point is
as a lot of guys are.
So what's the latest one? If that's it, that's it. But we know what's coming unraveled about a month ago. That game in Arizona was a bad one. And that Charger one, that put him on notice. That got you front and center. That opened some eyes.
I knew it was coming unraveled. That's why I came in here the day after the Cardinals game and said, "This is over. He's gone. Get him out of here."
That's crazy. You did that. You called the Schefter thing on Sunday too, and
it's because it's so predictable.
Clockwork.
Because if you have a functioning brain and you watched this thing for the last month, it made you incredibly pissed off, and you knew that this had to come to an end. And they did too. That's why they waited all of 85 minutes to get him out the door after the season ended. They wasted no time. There's a message in that. This was bad. And we don't even know the half of it. Because if they felt the need to fire him that quickly,
you're gonna start hearing little leaks.
Yes, there'll be a story for sure.
Oh yeah, no, they want to justify it now. You just watch, just like the Red Sox do. All of a sudden, you'll start hearing the stories and start seeing those stories.
Isn't this just leverage, though, from the team when it comes to Vrabel? Isn't that a real possibility? This is leverage when it comes to Vrabel and the opening they have at the head coaching position. Just like Vrabel has an interview today with the Bears. He's reaching out to is he really going to be the head coach of the New Orleans Saints?
No
shot.
No. You think he wants to go to Chicago?
No. It's not going to happen. There's a leverage from both sides, though, right now.
Is it a good team?
Go there, get a good steak.
Is it a good organization?
No, I think he wants to be. The trip. Put him at the Ritz downtown.
You're right, McCone. They know he wants to be here. It's out there that he wants this job. So now it's like, well, we'll see, Mike. We're going to do a real search. We're going to go talk to everybody. Ben Johnson, he's the hot name in coaching. We're going to do a real interview with him.
Yeah, I think it's a two-man race.
And everybody make sure you tell the world that this is not a sham process.
No.
It's a real process. So I'm just asking you, if they land on Mike Vrabel, you're going to buy it again? You're going to buy this? I'm not buying it. I think Vrabel's their guy. Vrabel becomes the head coach, and that's where this ends. And they didn't go into it with an open mind.
If I was a gambling guy, I would structure it that way. I would say Vrabel is the front runner. They want him. Johnson's the outlier. Johnson has to do something to make them not want Vrabel. He's going to get a shot at it. But talk us off the ledge. We're going after Vrabel. Why shouldn't we have Vrabel?
I would be stunned if Mike Vrabel is not the head coach of the Patriots.
Same.
I am too.
Same.
I would be too.
So how do you believe it's a real search if that's how it ends? And if that's how you feel?
Because they have to go do this. Because it's the way it's written. You have to. The Rooney Rule's in effect now. 2 minority candidates will get interviewed. Other than Ben Johnson, maybe another coordinator will get interviewed. I don't know.
How many people should they interview? And I don't know the answer to that. I'm just curious. How many should they get to?
I think at least 3. Because after the third, really, who are you again? What name is that?
What's your short list?
The Chargers a year ago knew that Harbaugh was their guy. They interviewed, I think, 8 coaches.
Him and Vrabel were the 2 big ones, though. It was Harbaugh and Vrabel. The story was Vrabel wanted that gig. I remember that. Hard nose, are going to go in and run it. Good quarterback, good defense. Perfect for Vrabel. L.A., yeah, good facility. I mean, how many did Atlanta interview? They brought in Bill twice.
Bill wasn't even in the top 3, right?
Yeah, that's what I said.
So, I mean, the real searches have 7 or 8 or sometimes 9 candidates. So if you've got that many in a big search, do we think they get to that number?
I don't think they get there, and I don't think they want to waste their time either. If you find a guy you want and you covet him and he agrees to things, you get it done. You get it done. I don't think they're going to do 8. Hey, if you like that clip, check out more videos from Zolak and Bertrand right here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.